quotient by using compatible numbers. 182 or 158 and 2/10 divided by 7. Okay, so since we have a single digit number, does our divisor actually need to change? No, it can stay the same. Okay, so we're going to put a 7 there. All right, now what is a multiple of 7 that gets you close to 158.2 without changing it too much? So are we going to look at the whole 158? No, we're going to just solely look at the 15, okay? So what's the multiple of 7 that gets you close to 15, but is a little bit under? 14, right? What is a multiple of 7 that gets us close to, what would that be our low? What's our high? 21, right? So which one's closer, the 14 or the 21? The 14. So we're going to use 140 as our dividend. So then our answer, the quotient, would be, so we're going to take the 140 divided by 7. So 7 goes into 14 how many times? Twice. And then add a 0. Okay, number 3, we have 183 and 75 hundredths divided by 18. Okay, first thing we want to look at is the divisor. This one is a double digit number, so we can't leave it as 18. What would it be closest to? 20, okay? So we're going to pretend that that 0 isn't on there. So what is the multiple of 2 that would get me close to 18 without going over? 18, right? So when you have 18 would be the low end. What's a high end? 20, right? Okay. So which one would be better to use? The 18. So, but I'm not going to just put 18. I'm going to put 180. Okay. So what am I going to do? So basically, I can knock off zeros because there's one on the divisor and one on the dividend, right? So all I'm doing is 18 divided by 2, which would be 9. On your own, number 4, model is mathematics. Kathy pours equal amounts of water from a bucket into 7 bottles. About how much water goes into each bottle? So we have 7 bottles. This is what we're looking for, and this is our total. So what would be our division expression or our number sentence? Six 6.5 divided by 7. Rename the dividend as a number of tenths and adjust it to be a compatible number with 7. So we're going to rename that as what? 65/10. What is a multiple of 7 that gets us close to 65? What's the low end? 63. And what's the high end? 70. So is 70 closer or is 63 closer? 63. So 63/10 divided by 7. So estimate the quotient. So 63 divided by 7 would be what?
9.
So 63/10 divided by 7 equals what? 9/10. Which what is that written in decimal form?
About
0.9, right? Okay. So our answer would be
about
9/10, right? Terrence collects 6/100 pounds of sand along a river. He wants to distribute the sand equally among 8 buckets. Is it reasonable for Terrence to put 8/10 of a pound of sand in each bucket? So we have this, and then they want to know if it's reasonable. Okay, so we're going to draw our line and we're going to say because. So we're going to write yes or no on that line, and right now we're going to explain why. Okay, so what would I convert 6/100 to? How would I write that? Another way. 6/100, right? And I just write it as 61 and then hundredths in word form. Okay. What is a multiple of 8 that gets us close to 61? So what's a low multiple? 56, right? And what's a high multiple? So basically, if you would go to your multiplication chart and you would go along 8, your lowest would be 56, right? And your high would be what? 64. So which is closer, the 56 or the 64? So we're going to estimate it to 6,400 divided by 8 gets us what? What's 64 divided by 8? 8. So 800. And then in decimal form, that would be written as 0.08. So is that reasonable? Yes. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to write yes. Basically, you guys are going to do your proofing and then you're going to decide if it's a yes or a no. Okay? All right, number 6. Financial literacy. Miss Smith buys a bike on credit for $434.95. To avoid paying interest, she agrees to make 12 equal monthly payments for the bike. About how much will Miss Smith pay each month? So here's our total. Here's how many equal parts she's going to have. And then about how much. So we know our answer is going to have the word about. Correct? Okay. So should I leave that as a 12? What should I do? You guys know your multiples of 12, don't you? Yes. Yes. Okay. So can I leave that as a 12? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to divide by 12. I know that. Okay. Like I said, we always kind of identify our divisor first because then that helps us figure out what our dividend can be. Okay. So am I taking that 12, trying to find a multiple of 12 for 43 or a multiple of 12 for 434? For 43. So if I went on my multiplication chart and I went down the 12, what's the first multiple I'm going to come across? A 12 that would give me a little bit low but close to 43. 36. Okay. If I went down and I kept what would be the next one that would be just a little bit higher? 48. Okay. So is the 36 or the 48 closer? 48. Okay, so am I putting 48 or am I putting 480? 480. Okay, so what is 48 divided by 12? 4 and add a 0. So about $40 each month. Now we went with a little bit high estimate. Is that good in this case? Yeah. Yes, because we have money we're dealing with, right? And once again, we want to make sure that we have enough to cover her payments. Because she wouldn't want to get to that last month and then find out she has the money left, and then she's going to start being charged what? Interest, right? Okay. All right. Estimate the quotient by using compatible numbers. So, okay, we have a 6. Are we going to keep that or change it? We keep that, right? So we're going to put a 6 here. Okay. So what's a multiple of 6 that gets me a little under 21? 18. What's a multiple that gets me a little bit above it? 24. Okay. So in this case, which one is closer? 22. They're both only 3 away. Okay. But what's going to make my deciding factor? Is this closer to 21 or is it closer to 22? 22. So in this case, which one would be closer? The 24. Okay. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. Okay. Next one, I have 141 and 30. 141 and 1900 divided by 32. So, my divisor. I'll look at it first. Am I going to keep it at 32 or change it? Change it to 30. Okay. Now, am I taking that 30, and I'm going to pretend like the 0 is not there, right? And I'm going to take the 3 into the what? 14, not the 141. Okay, so what is a multiple of 3 that gets me close to 14 without going over? 12. What's a multiple of 3 that gets me close to 14 and goes just a little bit over? 15. So is the 12 or the 15 closer? The 15. But I'm not just writing 15, I'm writing 150. Okay, then I have zeros in the divisor and in the dividend, so I can just pretend like they're not there, right? Okay, so 15 divided by 3 is